Okie dokie. Well, every so often I'm accused of being a compulsive gambler who doesn't like to risk money, uh, because all I do is play fake games. I tell myself that what it's all about is my need to amass as much verifiable data as I possibly can, data, as it is in England. But you can interpret what I'm doing however you want. It's useful to me. Hopefully, it's useful to you. And all I can do is just keep going. I'm interested in one aspect with the Wizards' excellent blackjack sim, and that is maybe going back when I can afford the time or when I've got the huge staff to take care of it, to look at card count, because I'm not seeing anything that suggests that counting cards is a good long-term proposition. But then again, I'm not qualified to say anything against card counting because I just don't do it. You know, it's as simple as that. So, um, and I did spend time. I did, it wasn't very long, but I met Ed Thorpe years and years ago in Pebble Beach in California at a backgammon tournament of all things. And he told me then that he was working on a similar approach, a card counting approach for baccarat, but I don't think it ever came to anything. The problem, of course, being that tens don't count for anything. So I don't know. Maybe there's a way to go. And I met another guy who was an acolyte of his, George Williams, I think his name was. Met him years later in downtown Las Vegas, and we had several hours together. And he was counting cards and doing very well. All he did was he bet the minimum when the count was negative and the maximum and just two values. I think probably 25 and 100 or something like that. And he did well. I did well too, doing my thing, but not as well as he did because he was betting more money. And that's one of the sums that we have to get used to. The more you bet, the more you win. But then the more you bet, the more you lose. So whatever. That was 50 up the spout. So 51, second bet. Oh dear. Oh dear. This is 1-2, third bet. We might be dropping back. Oh, look at that. Very nice. Okay. Not a big win, but good enough. Oh, sweet. Double for the push. Not tie in. Push. Hit. Oh, I like that one. That was very clever. Let's do that again. I should do that every time. Then I'd win, wouldn't I? I think that's a repeat, isn't it? Double it for the push. Yeah, that worked. All right, back to the minimum. Yeah, the other advantage of doing this, of course, is it demonstrates very well that this strategy works just as well for blackjack as it does for baccarat, and in fact it's very effective at roulette as well. But you have to remember that even single zero roulette, you're looking at a house edge that's easily twice that of baccarat, and probably 3 times the house edge, the overall house edge for what's it, thingamajig, doofly doodle. What's the name of that bloody game? Oh yes, blackjack. Okay, was that double for a loss? I think so. 1-2, maybe stepping back. Oh, bugger. 3-2 minimum. Okay, we better call it 4-2, I think, because we had a little string of quarters lost there. So 4-2. Yeah. 6-4. Second bet. Kicking my ass, aren't you? 10-8. Third bet. Oh dear. So it's going to be 1820, but we're falling back. Ah, 1920. This is horrible. Still waiting. Bloody hell. Finally. Alright, so we're in big money now. 1920. Uh-huh. Well, it's going to be 4-5 now. And now we're on 9-10, I think. I should be running away from this, but I'm too lazy. That was lucky. What was it? It was lucky. And again, that sort of sets me off. It's where, because I get so sick of people telling me, well, you know, you got lucky then. Getting lucky is what the game is all about. The most important thing is when you get lucky, having the money on the table so that you can recover your past losses pronto. You know, I mean, what was that? That was a single win gave us the turnaround. Cheeky win, but still, you know, that's just how the game is. Oh, God save us. Alright, double. Sorry, +1 for the win. 51, second bet. Repeat it. We'll take that. Minimum. Oh no, we've got to stand first. Nearly doubled it. Okay, minimum. Okay. See, there's that 789 thing again. Double for the loss. Oh, and of course we passed 1,000 some way back. Double for the loss, so that's 1-2. Maybe pulling back. Okay, so that's 3-2 and minimum. Uh, 3-2 it is. Money on the table. 1-2. Alright, so we're out of danger there. Minimum bet again. Bum, 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 double for the loss. Rubbish. Double for the loss, so that's 2-3, third bet. Rubbish again. Look at that, lovely 21. See, the dealer gets lucky, so why can't I? 2-3, 5-3, and we're minimizing. Bugger you. I think we better call that 6-3, don't you? Uh, 9-6, second. 3-4. 7-8, second bet. Getting up there again. 15. 16, third bet, I think. I think we just passed 2,000 at 10 minutes, so I kind of like that. We're back to the minimum. Double for the loss. Bummer. 1-2, third bet. Uh, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 5-4, but minimum. And minimum again. Okay, 5-4 it is, back on the table with money in the spot. Ugh. 9, 8. Tempted to make that 9-10, but 9-8. 2-3. 5-6, second bet. That worked. Okay, so 2,300, we've slowed down a bit, haven't we? But that was the last. Yeah, the cut card is 2 decks in, which is pretty mean. You can change that, but I haven't bothered. I think the shoes are quite long enough, so we'll go for the second shoe. We're on our minimum. We're not doing great right now, but we are winning 2,275 right now, so that's not a terrible thing. +1 for the win. +1. Pretty. +1. So we're going to repeat that. Okay, so we're out of trouble there, so we just go back to the minimum. I think he beat us. Double for the loss. Okay. Stop laughing here. 1-2, third bet. Okay, 3-2, but minimum. Oh, mean. Alrighty. So 3-2 it is, money back on the table. That was clever. 5-4. Gotta double it. Yep, that worked. Okie doke. Yeah, it does get frustrating when you get these wallies who sort of say, yeah, no, you just got lucky. You got to get unlucky before you get lucky. That's 1-2 again, isn't it? Third bet. Yeah. Oh, kiss my ace. Upstairs, I mean, the dealer's thing there. What the hell was that? I was 1-2, so we're cool with that. All right. Minimum. Nice one. That's a pretty one too, isn't it? So that's just a repeater, I think. 51. 2-3, third. 5-3 minimum. Money on the table, real money on the table. 5-3. 2-3. That's not going to do much good, is it? Oh, shows what I know. Okay, so 3,000 crashed at 15 minutes. Yeah, very slow this time. Double for the loss. Rubbish. 1-2. Third bet. I think we made that okay. Add 1 for the push. Double for the push. 1-2. 3-2, but minimum. Aha. Minimum again. Minimum. Okay, money out. 3-2. 5-4. Can't begrudge the dealer an occasional natural. That worked. Thank you very much, Mr. Wizard. Double for the loss. Double down. I got nowhere for that. Double for the tie. Double for the push is what I meant. Okay, we're out of that. Back to the min. Double for the loss. One, 2. Might be running away. I'm going to hit that. I don't care. Did we deserve that or what? I mean, come on. +1 for the win. Yeah, it's going to be interesting when I eventually get these all transcribed over to Excel, and there's a lot of them. But I think it's going to be worth it because it's more proof of the fact that if you bet correctly and if you bet strategically and in a disciplined, sober way, with lots of money behind you and all of that jazz. Where the hell am I? What day is it? Better call it 1-2, I think, because I lost track there. Okay, minimum. Double for the loss. That was a clever one up there. Double for the push. Mama. I think we have to repeat that. And that's a double. Alright. So we crashed 4,019 minutes. Not much left of this shoe, I don't think. Add 1 for the win. Very nice. Very clever. So that's 1-2, isn't it? Second bet. Just enough. Okay, so minimum. Boy, that was clever. That's the kind of hand that I get. God, does anybody watch that guy, what's his name, Vic Ross, the Canadian? Oh, God. Poor guy. Why he gambles is completely beyond me. I mean, jeez, makes Prince Harry look optimistic. Where am I? Repeater, I think. You beat me. You meanie. 51. Double for the push. Alright, 51, 51, 51, double 2, 53, 3, 4. Third. Oh boy. See, that's what you need. Crash through 5,000. I think we've got maybe 2 hands left with 21. So let's go. Yeah, there we go. Stand on that. I'm not going to bother to chase that because we've done, we've done 2 shoes and we're 5,000 ahead. And let's not be greedy, right? So just another little session that puts the nail in the coffin of the idea that progressive betting can't win, and also demonstrates that if you play right, if you bet smart, you can beat the house over and over again. See you next time. Okay, so it became obvious to me pretty quickly after that most recent Feb 11 double shoe session against the Wizard, where I had an 18% net AV against me, meaning that the odds against me were around about at least 20 times what you expect, what the negative expectation for skilled, reasonably skilled basic strategy play at blackjack is. So I thought it was worth taking a closer look, and that's what I've done. I did make a couple of mistakes along the way, but we all make mistakes. You will make mistakes. I will make more mistakes in the future. The most important thing is to look at the big picture. And what we have here is, first of all, this specific set ended up with me winning 15% of my total action. The win was just over £5,000, or it would have been, well, it was dollars, obviously, and since the Wiz is in Las Vegas, but I deal with pounds because that's what I have to spend at the grocery store, okay? So, whatevers, peanuts, whatever. 15% against, that's plus 15% against an 18% negative expectation. The gross actual value was over 21%, excuse me, but naturals and double downs and splits and so on improved that to 18%. Exposure was pretty high. It was 18,500, but it means that exposure is just part of the game. You have to put money out to win money. You have to speculate to accumulate. You have to all the usual cliches, and they're all perfectly accurate. A couple of things that matter up here. The expected outcome based upon the 18% net AV, minus 18% net AV, would have been a loss of £6,000, dollars, whatever. But instead we reversed that. And that 15% hold of total action is pretty bloody healthy. If you look at the bottom chart here, you will see that for a little bit, just a little bit, the shoe was kind to us, and then wham, and then another wham in the hole, and then after that, by about the second shoe was pretty average. Round about what you expect, in the area of sort of minus 2 or 3% max against us. I've now processed 5 Wizard sessions in this particular spreadsheet just to look at stuff and see how we got along. Total win to date is 72 grand. Total action to date is 401 grand. Hold is 18%. Expected or indicated loss is 24,000, which didn't happen. We had the worst exposure was 68,500. So we did fine against we won that plus a little bit, so we've got a 105% return on risk. The AVs are shown here. There were a couple of them which were positive. The first two were plus 3% and nearly plus 4%, and that's unusual. But then with consistent and accurate basic strategy play, you will occasionally manage to beat the house, and also to see a positive net AV against even a negative one. But this is basically how it normally is. I mean, the 18% was nasty. The next one up was 17%. The other one was 1%, which is about what you expect. So average overall minus 6%. So all I'm trying to say to you here is that, you know, we had to put some money out. There's no doubt about it. We had a nasty patch here where we were 8,500 in the hole. Total exposure was going from here, where we were a couple of hundred ahead. The real exposure was, well, 18,500 is kind of a worst case. But we were exposed. There's no doubt about it. We did have to put up some money to make some money, and so that's how it is. I'll just scroll down here, and you can see how the bets panned out. It was a good session. And our real exposure was 8,500 because we were a little bit ahead. And it was actually, the reason it says 18,500 up there is because it also takes, you know, it assumes that the lowest point in the bankroll will be followed by the biggest bet. And that indeed is what happened. So that's why, you know, we were 8,500 in the hole, and we had to put 10,000 on the table, which we won, and so that turned us around to 1,500 ahead. So that's how that works. And again, looking down, you know, you can see all this stuff is deadly accurate. I mean, it's boringly accurate. It may not excite a lot of people. Most people would much rather have fun losing than work a little harder and win, and that's just a fact of life. I don't have a problem with that. I think everybody has a right to do as they wish with their own money. The only people who bother me are the players who play really badly and screw up other people. And that's why a lot of serious players will have little tricks that they do to empty the table. You know, they'll do things like splitting kings or splitting tens or whatever, just to drive people away. I've done it myself, so you know I know what that's about. You know, and if you've got some real duffers playing really badly, and you know, lots of people will say, and I noticed on what's it called, Blackjack Apprenticeship, they say that it doesn't matter if other people play badly. Actually, it does, because your attitude, your comfort level, your mood, if you like, is very important to the way that you play. And if you've got somebody who is constantly like taking the dealer's bus card, you know, like hitting on 15 against a 6 and taking the 10, and then the dealer gets a 5 to his 16, you know, I mean, that kind of thing, it really brings the table down. So I remember, and I've talked about this before, but I played with one guy in Reno years ago who made me smile, because what he did was he always doubled down on 12. Didn't matter what the dealer had, he would double down on 12, and it didn't bother me at all, because nobody ever takes more than one card on 12 anyway, so if he was paying for it, that was up to him. Didn't bother me in the least. But people ran away and they'd be shaking their heads and sort of thinking, "Oh, you idiot," when all he was doing was just emptying the table. And then, of course, we got to chat because, I just said to him, I said, "Yeah, nice move, good way to clear the table." And he said, "Yup," and I said, "Well, I'm not going anywhere, sorry." And I explained to him, I said, nobody ever takes more than one card to a 12. And no, he didn't do it all the time. He only did it sort of like against twos and threes and blah blah blahs, And of course, every so often he would catch an 8 or a 9 and smile. But no, he was just being smart, taking control of the game as much as he could. And you will always do better heads up against the dealer than with other people interfering. It's faster. It's more exciting, if you like, especially when you hit a winning streak. I do remember once playing against the dealer, and it was when the house had a special going on where they paid double, I think it was, for 3 sevens, 21 with 3 sevens. And the girl was dealing single deck. And it came up once, and so I said, "Oh, great," and so I pushed out, sort of like probably at least a quarter of the whatever I made as a tip, and she shuffled, it came up again. And so I gave her a good tip again, and then a little bit later on it came up again, and I'm thinking, Jesus, I hope the eye in the sky isn't watching this, because the chances of getting a 777-21 single deck are very remote indeed, which is why they paid double on it. And obviously she was a mechanic, and she was great with it. I mean, she was funny, and I love it when the dealer is enjoying himself or herself, and when they have a sense of humour, and when they chat, and when they ask questions about you, and you talk to them. It's the ideal situation. And most dealers are that way, but every so often you come across some real, they obviously get no tips because they're house dealers. They love to win. They sigh when they lose a hand, and they sort of slap the cards down when it's the card tip. And some of them, they do something which is absolutely infuriating, and that is that they look at the card before they give it to you. So it's like, and they throw it down like a gauntlet glove or something like that, and you've got 12 and it's bang, 10, screw you, buddy, that sort of approach. But anyway, you don't see many of those. Most dealers, I think, are absolutely marvelous, and I enjoyed so many great dealers over so many years in Nevada, and it makes a big difference. It really does. Anyway, that's enough for now. Talk to you later.